The Real Life Scarface watched the insane story of the Scarface Gang. Consider a world where violence and corruption reign supreme, where criminal empires rise and fall as quickly as bullets. This is the world of the Belgian Scarface Gang, an infamous criminal organization that left a trail of carnage and destruction throughout Europe. Join us as we unearth the dark and twisted narrative of the Scarface Gang and the legacy they left behind, from their humble beginnings to their terrible reign of terror. Known as Europe's most feared criminal group behind closed doors, the Scarface Gang ascended to power in a blaze of violence and corruption, known for their harsh tactics and iron grip on the underground. However, as law enforcement drew in, their empire began to unravel, resulting in a brutal downfall that had a long-lasting impact on the criminal underworld. Prepare for an exciting voyage into the dark and hazardous world of Belgium's Scarface Gang. The Scarface Gang, a criminal organization that initially drew the notice of Belgian authorities in 2011, operated in a variety of forms ranging from 2 to 6 individuals, even boasting a strong female member who was not afraid to speak out about their illicit activities. While centered mostly in Belgium, their crimes had no borders, and they had no qualms about engaging in illicit activities in neighboring nations such as the Netherlands or France. However, what began as minor and seemingly trivial violations ultimately evolved into some of the world's most violent and high-profile cases. It all started on a fairly normal day in February 2011, when a one-of-a-kind BMW M5 with over 500 horsepower went on the market. Little did the owner realize that the two guys who had come to view the vehicle would soon brandish a weapon and flee in terror. Things would only grow worse from there as the Scarface Gang's crimes reached unparalleled levels of brutality and devastation. The Scarface Gang's BMW M5 had evolved into more than just a vehicle. It was now an essential component of their illegal operations. The BMW reappeared in Wallonia, Belgium, barely 3 days after its dramatic theft, with 2 armed and masked persons getting out and running into a gas station. Inside, they held the employees hostage while emptying the cash registers before departing the scene in a haste. It was a modest haul that was not worth the danger. The BMW reappeared the following day, this time at a different gas station. However, rather than conducting another theft, the group just filled up their tank and drove away without paying, their seeming lack of finances reflecting how paltry their earlier gain had been. The Scarface Gang, on the other hand, was far from finished. On February 22nd, they set off again towards Liège, Belgium, this time with a 5th member, a lady, as brutal and crafty as the rest of the gang. The Scarface Gang was hungry for action and willing to go to any length to obtain what they wanted. 2 masked and armed men storm into the shop and threaten the jeweler. He decides to fight back and assaults the robbers with a chair. When the jeweler's dog rushes coming in, one of them shoots 3 rounds as a warning, but they leave empty-handed. The BMW then accelerates to Brussels. The robbers are back after a 6-day break, this time targeting a post office in Walheim, Belgium. The BMW M5 races into the post office street, a blue siren flashing on the dashboard. One of the gang members attempts to break the window with rocks. It does not work. He decides to fire his weapon 3 times through the same window, but each time it fails. In less than a minute, they drove off again and the mission failed. For 2 weeks, there was silence, and authorities performed thorough investigations into previous cases, but they still had no idea who was committing these atrocities. On March 13th, they'll be back with the BMW, and this time they go to a hotel in Mechelen, Belgium. 2 armed and masked men exit the automobile and rush for the main entrance. They demanded money from the safe, but they were unaware that the safe had a time lock that only allowed it to be accessed at specified hours. They emptied the front desk register and stormed out, desperate to take something with them. Once again, there wasn't much loot. So are these people inexperienced? Is it simply bad luck? While the police continue to investigate the previous thefts, the gang continues to change the plates on the car, but as you might anticipate, the situation is heating up. 3 days later, on March 16th, the group plans to commit another robbery, and once again they have set their sights on jewelers. They are with the other 5. A man and a woman walk up to the store and ring the doorbell. Later, the victim told police that he opened the door because it appeared normal and he observed nothing unusual. 2 other men rushed in and emptied the cupboards as soon as he opened the door. They joined the owner's legs and arms together, and after a few minutes, they exit the store and drive away with some jewelry. The loot, according to the owner, was once again minor. This almost certainly forced the group to reassess their strategy. They'd committed all these acts, but they hadn't yet built a name for themselves. It had been quiet for 2 weeks before the incident. Rotterdam, the Netherlands, is celebrating April 4th. What happens next is exactly what the gang has been anticipated. They invaded Secure Cash, a money transfer company depot, with total professionalism. They successfully blew out an entrance door using strong explosives. Employees at Secure Cash are taken aback by the explosion and decide to investigate. When they see the gang members, they flee for their lives. Unfortunately for 2 employees, they are shot while fleeing the attackers. The others who survive call the cops. The gang rapidly seizes control of the entire structure and begins loading massive sums of money into their vans. Imagine a group of brave robbers known as the Scarface Gang driving down the highway in a BMW M5 and an Audi RS6, full on adrenaline from the theft they just completed. They had just stolen countless millions from a cash transport company in France, utilizing their typical technique of explosives and lightning-fast heist. But they weren't finished. Oh no, they had only just begun. The impenetrable fortress of Brinks money transport in Amsterdam, where fully armored trucks carrying millions of dollars went in and out daily, was their next target. The Scarface Gang, however, was unafraid of the hefty gates, protected doors, and camera surveillance that surrounded the Brinks headquarters. They had a strategy and were determined to carry it out. On an otherwise typical day, the Scarface Gang arrived at the Brinks parking lot in 2 sleek Audis, dressed to rival Tony Montana's renowned wardrobe. With precision and subtlety, they made their way toward the Brinks building, while others positioned themselves on the adjacent highways. Then, without warning, there was a great explosion that shattered the armored entrance and left a gaping breach in the once impenetrable fortress. The Scarface Gang returned victorious once more, with their wallets bulging with the proceeds of their latest crime. The authorities were perplexed, and the public was taken aback by the daring robbers who appeared to operate with impunity. The Scarface Gang had etched their name into criminal history, leaving a trail of devastation and fortune in their wake. They slowed the arrival of police officers at Brinks. The Audis strained to keep up with the big cargo, but they then ran away. They were pursued by cop cars. A bloody shootout ensued. After one Audi escaped, the cops lost track of it. The other Audi was fleeing from the cops and was chasing at 240 kilometers an hour. The police cars lost sight of each other and requested air support. This theft was meticulously organized. The crash was unexpected. Due to his excessive speed, he lost control and crashed on the highway, and they were aware of their plight. 3 unarmed individuals attempted to assist, but the criminals opened fire on them. Their Hyundai i10 had been taken. The Audi exploded before the robbers could move all the cash bags to the Hyundai. Following the crash, one robber was taken into the Hyundai. The Audi blew up, costing them millions of dollars, and a police cruiser followed the Hyundai. One of the robbers pointed his automatic rifle at the police car and demanded that it cease pursuing them, which the cops obliged because the crooks were in danger. The Hyundai never showed up. The story of the Scarface Gang, robbers who committed over 40 minor offenses and 8 severe ones. A gang that progressed from modest crimes to millions of dollars. Some members were apprehended, some fled, and one was killed in the Amsterdam robbery. The gang hasn't been seen since making almost $15 million in a year in 2011. And that brings us to the end of our journey into the world of Belgium's Scarface Gang. We hope this video has given you an insight into the dark and frightening world of organized crime, as well as the catastrophic influence it can have on society.